Welcome everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. This is a read for the Divine Masculine Twin Flames. We're just doing a little bit of clearing here. I was just doing a little bit of meditating for you guys to see if there were any messages to come up. This is a big read, you guys. A lot of messages came through, so stay tuned. For the meditation I just did, it wasn't long. I was getting the Divine Feminine little girl worried about fading away. That was very clear. And then as I was doing that meditation, I heard my son come in behind me, and I didn't hear any movement after that, so I knew he was kind of standing there waiting for me to finish my meditation because he didn't know what I was doing. And so I wasn't getting anything, and so then I stopped to see what he wanted. And he wanted to tell me that an opening just came up for the job that he wanted. So that is a message for you guys about the Divine Masculines. So that was very clear. So as the Feminines worried about fading away, the Masculines changes are coming in as far as work and things like that. So getting into this read right away, because there's a lot to cover, we have today, which is January 16th, 2020. And please forgive me, I just got back from my run. I'm still sweating and I'm a little bit out of breath. So just so you know why I'm catching my breath, okay? Today's the 16th, so the Tower energy, the Tower moment, which can just reference epiphanies. So it doesn't have to be anything negative at all. It can be things quite positive, but it's just about sudden changes, very drastic and divine changes. When you don't make the changes yourself, that's when it can be on the negative side, because then divine timing has to come in to kind of push your hand in the right direction. So we have the Tower, and then 16 is also a 7. And the 7 is always the calm, the going within, the spiritual nature, the number of the psychologist or the priest. It's the number of going within, the calm before the storm, because 8 is the storm. So the day adds up to 21, which is a 3. So the world, which is the culmination of the cycle, completion, going out to the world, connecting with the world. 3 is all about socializing and siblings and being joyful and happy-go-lucky. It's about coming together with multiple people around the world. So we have the Tower and the world, you know, 2 huge majors of culminations and sudden changes. Just like this opening just came up for my son, which he was looking forward to. So, and this unexpected, because this was not guaranteed at all. So very cool that he just got that opening. So 16 of the Tower and 21 of the world. And the 3 and the 7, which is very much like a group meditation, coming together to go within. And let's see here, before I start the read, as I was doing the read, the SIRIAN STARSEED deck was cut at 9:25, which is the Hermit and the Knight of Wands. Then as I was going on with the clarifiers at 9:33, I was getting a lot of pairings. So I was seeing couples, like everyone's a different kind of couple. You know, you're not all the same. You'll see the King and Queen of Pentacles over here and the King and Queen of Cups over here. But I was seeing these little pairings being paired off, which is a nice sign. And that was as the Universal Golden went out. Then at 9:36, which is 36 of the 10 of Wands, which came up as some of the last burdens to release. And that may be the job change, like the masculine cannot finally let go of that 10 of Wands burden because something new comes in that he was hoping for. And that was definitely significant in the read today, because when I put the major cards down, you know how I pull a few cards on either side of the read. And after the read, I pulled 3 cards today and decided not to pull the 4th. And the 4th card was that 10 of Wands, but the 10 of Wands also came up as the first underlying card pulled. So that 10 of Wands is still there, but it's like it's showing me, no, it's not continuing after this read. So an opportunity for the masculine's coming in to drop all of his burdens, which was a great sign. So the 10 of Wands, yes, about to be dropped for good. No more quote-unquote endings, with the 10 of Swords upright on the table as the fear position, the blocks that he needs to clear, because that's already done, right? The worst of the pain's already over. The Ten of Pentacles and Ten of Cups have been long overdone. We've been dealing with the family issues for a long time now, and they're coming up as already worked out. So also across the bridge in the cards, I was getting, there's a stretch to really stretch across the bridge to connect across the waters, basically. And that was at 949 to 950, which is the Nine of Cups and the Ten of Cups, which are actually two of the cards that are under the underlying energy. We have 9 and 10 of Cups right here and here. And then they came up as the times in clarifying that stretch across the bridge. And actually the Nine of Cups is the sovereign, right? The sovereign, happy with themselves. And that's upright, but the family Ten of Cups is reversed, which it should be, because that should be over by now. And then that bridge being a stretch came up again at 10:01 to 10:02, which was that turn for the better, and then the Magician and the High Priestess, going into your Magician embodiment of the Magician and the High Priestess. And the bridge consisted of the Three of Cups, the Eight of Cups, and the World, which is the coming together, the walking away and within, around the world. Okay, so that's like a group meditation again. By meditating in a group, it helps us bring in the energy. If we want it, like in stretching to cross the bridge, to close the gap, that we're being called to do group meditations to help us get there. Or just like that extra little boost. So it's not determined by this, but just the energies are coming up that would definitely help towards pushing in the unions. And then we have 951 to 52 for the end of the read, and when everything was done. We have the 9 of the Hermit and the 51 and 52 of the King and Queen of Swords. 51 is the King, 52 the Queen of Swords. The major arcana were reflection and transition. And then after the read, justice and guidance also came up. So reflection is the Hermit, transition the Death card, justice, and then guidance is like the Hierophant. We had 3 pentacles, 1 wand, 4 cups, and 1 sword. So mostly cups today, which is not that common for the masculine, but it's mostly about cups and pentacles today. So practical things, money issues, and then a lot of heart and emotions going into today. And the court cards, we have the Page of Pentacles, we have the King of Cups, we have the Knight of Cups, and the Queen of Pentacles. And then the 9 of Pentacles, which isn't a court card, but also comes up as a sovereign, as a person, so that's there. And then after the read, the King of Wands also came up, the shaman energy. So the majors reflect Virgo, Scorpio, Libra, and Taurus. So those are the major players today. The code line, we had no numerology card on the code line today, but the number was 8 from 2 and 6, which I just realized those are my numbers, because my soul number is 3811, which is a 2. My outer personality number is 42, which is 6, and my destiny number is 80, which is an 8. So I just noting that, because I hadn't noticed that before. But the code line is all about the number 8. And the 8 is about that dance between your own masculine and feminine. Not only centered between them, but then doing the dance back and forth. So regarding the code line here, the challenge card was the 6 of Flames today. However, it was reversed energy, and that's coming up in the code line, the 6 of Flames. So this became a significant message here, so stay tuned. I go through how I piece it together, so I want you to follow it with me, because this is how I came into the information. I want you to come into the information the same way, because you each have a different perspective, and you may be able to add light onto the situation. So telepathic connection or television, your telepathic connection, and that show of power was coming up regarding TI, which can reference God, because TI in Tao can reference God, and seeing the key to wise ones, but also T and T came out. TI and TE come up in Tao and in Confucianism, as TI is actually God, whereas TE is the ideal man, so the reflection of God in the human form. And they both came up, the TI and the TE, within this code line. As well as NI came up too, again for nickel, and TI, actually TI, the small I is titanium, but T capital I is something different, which also comes up. And then TI, the rapper, came up in the headers as well. So the television, your telepathic connection, your third eye use and show of power regarding TI or God, and the Tao power virtue in seeing the key to the sage or wise one regarding the Six of Wands, which is the journey, right? The journey man leading the way on the journey. And the T, which can just be the feminine toggling up to the etheric realms, but it was also confirming to you that toggling up is like, instead of anchoring down and grounding, you're anchoring into heaven on earth by toggling up. And then, of course, grounding down. We always have to ground because we're walking all over the earth every day. So again, TI is God, TE is the ideal man or the reflection of God. And in Tao or Confucianism, it's about the virtuous man. So, of course, in the headers, first, some stuff I put in about Confucianism, Confucius and Tao. So Confucius lived from 551 to 479 BC. And that was they're from all different sources: Britannica, Quora.com, Study.com, BurgerFoundation.ch, as well as Wikipedia.org. So from that information, when he lived, and then TE or Tianing, Tianing, the right. It's the virtue, which is the gentleman. Also, the Junzi came up as that, the Junzi. And the influence is over others toward humane conduct. From Quora.com, and this was August 29, 2016. So a couple different things were coming up from 2016. And since today is the 16th, you might want to look back at those dates because the tower is significant here and that may bring you an epiphany. So the rulers of ancient China had ZHIDE, referencing the perfect or ultimate. The ruler must long for peace over power, or governed righteously. From Study.com, TE is the moral power, one worthy of imitation. The Chun Tzu, CHUN-TZU, the leader with TE, superior or ideal man. And from the BurgerFoundation.ch, Confucius, their Chinese name was L Tao Tzu, or L Lao Tzu. It's L.Lao, and then TZU. Born, here it was saying around 604, but the actual dates were coming up in a couple different sources, 551 to 479 BC. But a leader of Taoism, and actually translates the old boy or grand old master, and was credited with writing the Tao Te Ching as the price for crossing through the Chinese borders into Tibet. So here's the bridging of borders. Instead of steps to popularize or spread his teachings, right, make himself known, choosing instead to retreat into solitude and go within, right, to raise his vibration and spirit connecting with me. And actually, when I wrote this, I got connection as well. So that was the second time. This is a very important line right here. Okay? That he was credited with the writing of Tao Te Ching. It's C-H-I-N-G. I'm probably not saying it right. Tao Te Ching as the price for crossing through the Chinese border into Tibet. So here we're calling about the bridging, but I was really getting the connection when we bring up, instead of the steps to popularize or spread your teachings, which is what they were talking about for him, choosing instead to retreat into solitude or just go within in order to raise your vibration. So you don't need to pull people into your energy. You just need to be your energy. As your vibration rises, you will attract the energy that's supposed to come into your energy that resonates with you. So again, J-U-N, or iun.edu, and then enotes.com also regarding the TI of God and the TE of power, or moral power. And let's see here. So just some quick headers that came up when I put the code line in. F movies came up. It's 5.f-movies.to is the actual site to watch free movies. So that was coming up. Some numbers from a header came up. Intel 173770. So it was a lot about I and 7 and 17. 37 is the King of Cups. 70 is the Two of Pentacles, the dance. And then the GTX 1050, which is the turn for the better and the emotional fulfillment of the 10 of Cups. And then the TI came up from YouTube in this coding as well, referencing God again, or referring to God again. And then NI of nickel, and also the show of power of nickel and what it can do to the human body, because it's not good for you, referencing the shadow side, basically. But this heading came up with Nai no Kuni Wrath of White Witch Remastered, and it had to do with PC and Intel, it was all computer stuff. GTX-1050 Ti, 4 gigabytes, and then GDDRS plus Intel, you know, whatever. But it was 4 minutes and 22 seconds, referencing a recording. And the 4 is the Emperor, the one in control, which the only one really in control is God, right? And then the 22 seconds, which is the Fool. The Fool is the human embodiment of the TE man, because the Fool is the only one without ego, right? It's the one who opens their heart freely and is willing to jump off a cliff in faith because they've let go of their ego. So we have the Emperor as God, and the 22 as the Fool of the perfect human. And then we have the another header came up around TI, which is the rapper, but also Wraith FTYO Gotti from YouTube, referencing Grand Hustle and Epic Records. So again, a lot of his rapper stuff was coming up. NI versus TI, page 2 of typologycentral.com, that came up multiple times. TU Manga Online, it's TMOFANS.com, that came up, as well as, again, TITE users explaining differences, Typology Central, and then techniques of television news writing and production. So here's television again, referencing ResearchGate, because this is actually an article from ResearchGate, or the bridge, right, the gateway.net. Teachings of television news and writing and production, and referencing that one of the gates is actually research, right? Bridging multiple worlds. GoGoAnime came up.com, and then also TI again from wikipedia.org, the rapper. So again, it's always different perspectives. Here we have the TI is referencing also God, and also that other element, which I have to turn the page to let you know, but I'll let you know that in a minute. But remembering that, you know, some of this stuff can have really negative effects on people, right? If it has negative vibrations to it. Also, the counting music came up from wikipedia.org, and the Eastman system came up, the third day. And it was interesting because I just listened to Jessica, who was talking about the 7 days of how the world began. And she was referencing to directions, west and east and north and south. So then the Eastman system came up right here. And she had referenced the third day as the east. So that was coming up here, and we just referenced 3 as the, you know, that day adds up to the 21-3. And then TE used for the half beat, and TE is that ideal virtuous man used for the half beat. And again, he's one of 2. One, right? There's the masculine and the feminine. Also, some different tones were coming up for, you know, whole notes and 16th notes. We had Ni, TI, TE, TA for 4/16. And then beat numbers used for tactus. So if you're into music and all that kind of stuff, you might understand what this is. 3/8 notes, N, La, Li. And then 6/16 notes, N, Ta, La, Ta, Li, Ta. in a compound meter. So that was coming up as just a headline. And then the last couple that came up were TI again from September 23rd again, 2016, in the I Swear lyrics. And also nickel titanium was coming up, which is nitinol. And remembering that nickel is bad for you. It can get too much nickel. You can cause real issues to the human body. So realize that nickel and titanium are both used for many, many things, as well as nitinol in devices in the human body. And it was referencing the atomic numbers of both nickel and titanium, which was referencing them to 55 and 60, that they're very similar in quality. All right, so going on, again, back to the code. We have the television and the show of power, or nickel, and the TI of the God energy, seeing the key of the two sages, the wise one, the twins coming together regarding the journey, and the TE, or the perfected man. Some other headings that came up was TI flame, the lowercase I, and then that was from YouTube, and it said United versus Eugen, with a lot of experience on quad, which had to do with 4 things. And Eugen can reference University of the general population versus United, the united population, but also Eugen for me can be the University of God and Jesus, because for me, G is God and EN is code Jesus, as well as capital N. So also a header came up of TE and TI again from Reddit. What do they mean to you? And how does your thought affect your behavior? TOTETITE came up also from YouTube, how to dance the cha-cha. And that was 2 minutes and 37 seconds, referencing the 2 of the High Priestess, but also the twins, and the 37 of the King of Cups, the unconditional love. And then the cha was significant as well. So the cha-cha was coming in, because of course cha has other meanings as well. Another header came up was TI/capital TTOT. And that was pftforum.com, and that date was May 7th, 2017. Okay. So that was referencing a common way of expressing the I, the capital I colon E ratio, seems to have morphed into T lowercase I / 2 capital T's, or pi, 2 capital T's, and then lowercase ot. And they were defining that as inspiratory time, or inspiration, right? Over total inspiratory and expiratory time ratio. It's less common as TI over TE, and almost never as capital I colon capital E. And I was referencing that to, T lowercase I and T lowercase e were referencing what we just discussed, God and the virtuous man. Whereas capital I colon capital E references more of the I am presence versus the Elohim. And then the elemental table was coming up, because I was getting so many elements coming up. I had NI come up, TI, both the lowercase and capital I are 2 different elements. The TI is titanium, but the TI capital I is thallium, which is 81, which in my numerology book, The Divine Triangle, is the end of the human cycle. That basically after the squares of the 2 sides of the isosceles triangle, equaling the square of the hypotenuse, each line being 9 years of your life, you end up on age 81, and basically after age 81, you can choose what you want to do. Do you want to stay or do you want to go? And thallium in Greek, they referenced what they mean, is thallos, green shoot or twig. That's that 81, you become soft in your old age. A green shoot or twig. RE also came up, which is rhenium, which means Rhenus, or the Rhine, is 75. which is the Seven of Pentacles, which I always tell you in the SIRIAN Starseed deck for me is the Divine Feminine's heart. Also then, let's see, T lowercase I or titanium is number 22, which is the Fool. The lowercase I or nickel is 28, which is the Twin Flames. And I'm talking about the atomic numbers for all the elements if you're not sure what I was talking about. And then tellurium, which is T lowercase e, is 52, which is the Queen of Swords, the one who speaks with her light. So all of these numbers coming up were referencing the twins and the twin flame journey. And then this last one that came up on an elemental table that just caught my eye because it looked like Tennessee, which is number 117, which you like that number, I know. It only caught my eye because I was born in Tennessee. So T and then lowercase s, number 117, atomic number, and it's in group 17. Tennessee, and the name is from Tennessee, where Oak Ridge National Lab is located. So that was very interesting. So back to the code line and on to the read. We have television, the show of power or nickel of 28, the twin flames, and the TI of thallium or 81, and God, seeing the key, to the wise, to the RI or the RE or the rhenium 75, the Divine Feminine's heart, and the Six of Wands in the journey and being the leader, leading the way, the Queen of Swords, the 52, the TE, the tellurium, the telepathic connection, and the third eye show of power of twins in completion of their life cycle, the 81 of God, seeing the key or seeking the Elohim. So choosing your path, you can either choose to stay and see the key or leave and seek the Elohim. The two, the number 2 or 2, wise, clear, or queen, the Divine Feminine's heart, referencing the reference point being the leader, the Queen of Swords or the feminine energy, because that is the Queen of Swords is referencing the purity of light, the purity of intent. Or in other words, it's the King of Swords without power. Okay, because we're looking for the virtuous man here. So the connection of the twins is the power. There's no need, to be shown. In completion of human cycle at an early age, so instead of having to wait till 81 to get to this point, the twins are literally finishing their cycle, their karmic cycle, at an early age. In completion of the human cycle at an early age, to see the key or stay here, or can still decide to check out and go towards the Elohim, so to stay or go. The two wise ones, the queens, the bearers of good tidings, and then titanium was coming up here under tidings, of the Queen of Swords with pure intent, as opposed to the King of Swords with nickel, or 28, inside of him. And then it was referencing the Elohim as the ELO and him, right? So inside of him is the feminine. So referencing the Elohim, even though it says him, is the ELO of the light of the feminine within him, HYMN, or the hymn, the song, because the feminine is the light and the masculine, the sound. So we have the I, God energy of, and Spirit's connecting with me, of the T and lower I, right? And Tau, meaning God. But the masculine in his ego, in seeing himself as God, right? Made in the perfect image of God, as the masculine's always told. The masculine, and this isn't about judging one way or the other, we're both masculine and feminine, but the masculine energy is of more of this world, the feminine is more of the other world. The masculine is the power, the human, the ego. The sun is the 3D light. However, the feminine is the powerless, the humility, the high human, the less ego, the light of the 5D light, or closer to the TE, or the feminine man, the virtuous man. The feminine being the ELO, the masculine being the hymn, the song, the sound. She is the light, he is the sound. She is the Michael, he is the Metatron, that each are whole, but not as fun or interesting as when they're together. So there's nothing to prove for either one of them, just two to be. And if you write down the number 2 to be, it literally ends up being 2, 2, 2. It's first 2, 2, B, which is the Fool and the letter, capital letter B, and then B is the number 2 again. So you have room 222, the guidance counselors. Okay, nothing to prove, just 2 to be. 22B, which is the Fool, and just being, and then losing the last letter, just making it 222, becomes the guidance counselors. And then you see B. B can also be the number 13, because it literally is the number 13 pushed together. And if you take 13, it becomes 2 by taking the 3 and subtracting 1. So it's saying, like in numerology, when I tell you about 2 digits, for example, my soul number is 38. So it would be saying that the energy is the 3 minus the 8. Or excuse me, it's the inner number minus the outer number. So it would be the 8 minus the 3, which would make my number 5. So either way, it was coming out to 222 as guidance counselors, with love to give and nothing to prove. The 22 of the Fool, the 2 of the High Priestess, or 13 is the death portal, because that's just the other side, right? The higher self. So the 2 of the High Priestess, the same as the 13, because that's the portal through the veil to the other side. The same thing. You know, whether your body goes through or your etheric body goes through. It's just the perspective. The 22 is the human embodiment of the perfected man, bringing more of that feminine energy of the High Priestess, or your connection with higher self, more into the human body, or actually pulling the 3D human body into the 5D portal. The 22, the human without ego, or the Fool, and the 2 is the non-human angelic. Okay, so 1 is angelic in nature, and being here uncomfortable as a feminine energy because she wants to go home. The masculine, very at home on the earth, because it's his natural realm with the ego, who now needs to connect to his higher self. So this is the bridging between the 3D and 5D worlds, rebalancing the masculine and feminine within each human being. Okay? So as we get here onto the read, we start at 11:30, which is Justice, and the 30, which is the Union card, that 4 of Wands. And then number 4 comes up here in the read too, but we have a lot to get through, so I'm going to get going. It was just 33, by the way. That's the Christ vibration. We start off on the Page of Pentacles reversed. Here, the Seeker of Crystals and the SIRIAN Starseed deck. We're also using the Mini Rider WAITE. We're using the Universal Tarot. We're using the Gilded Tarot. We're using the Tarot Sexual Magic, as well as the Numerology deck and the Romance Angels. I think I covered everything, in addition to the SIRIAN Starseed deck. Okay? So the cards underneath the Page of Pentacles reversed were the 6 of Swords upright, the 2 of Pentacles reversed, and then, like I told you before, the 9 and 10 of Cups. The 9 of Cups upright and the 10 of Cups reversed. So needing help with psychic abilities, and this is for the Divine Masculine Twin Flames and the Masculine within the Feminine, and it is a general read, so if it doesn't fit or resonate, don't force it to fit. And also you may get your own messages from that, and that's the purpose of why some of this is in code, and you may not always understand it or be clear about it. Sometimes I give you things that I'm not clear on because I am guided to put it out there anyway, because somebody else will get it. It'll be a message specifically for them. So needing help with psychic abilities, money or opportunity to learn, a student or a child of the earth who's ungrounded a little in their manifestation abilities. After finding peace and dropping their facade, their ego, and breaking patterns, happy with self, and ending of an unhappy family or emotional cycle of non-resonance. The masculine standing up for himself and clearing the path as the Divine Feminine, Queen of Swords, upright, speaks her truth. And here, the cards here paralleled the stuff in the code line perfectly. The divine feminine, if you watch me regularly, you know that I brought up the feminine as the cyclone before, with the masculine behind her cleaning it up. Literally was coming up here in the cards. And I'll show you that when I show you the cards. As the feminine is speaking her truth, we have the Seven of Wands right behind her. So it's literally her speaking the truth with the masculine sweeping up behind her. It was perfect. The Page of Cups reversed, rejected. So again, that was the divine feminine cyclone, and the divine masculine clears the wake. I want to make sure I say the words that I wrote because they were specific to the message. The Page of Cups is reversed, rejected, vulnerable, or crying like a baby, but sovereign and empowered at the same time. And pushing the old self into the moat. The sovereign dove headfirst into peace, or fell off the cliff purposely in a beautiful swan dive into Swan Lake. Where the other is waiting in a simple boat, he clears the way with the Six of Wands, and she with the Six of Swords, of thought and words, and his passionate action, the love, the intention held inside of them with the Six of Cups, their two inner children, and the sharing of themselves is the Six of Pentacles, manifestation. All right, so I just went through all of the sixes with you. And of course, the major arcana six is the Lovers. He is the Six of Wands, cleaning up in the wake behind her. She is the Six of Swords, speaking her truth of light, of thought and words, and his passionate action. The love is inside of them, the intention held inside of them with the Six of Cups and their two inner children. And then the sharing of themselves is the Six of Pentacles, the balance in a very balanced relationship in manifestation. So we have 4 times the 6. So 6 times 4 then is 24, which is the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is the end of human karma. It's the Omega, which is also 81, the end of the cycle. Omega is the last letter of the Greek alphabet, but not the final word. She is the building block, the support for which the light, or the Queen of Swords, and the love, the Queen of Cups, are expressed. The flame and the gold coin of the Queen of Pentacles are the outlying polarities on the bell curve, and notice bell is with the capital B, the 13 of going through the transition of death. The flame and the gold coin, the wands and the pentacles, are the outlying polarities on the bell curve. The energy loops, the hoops you had to jump through to stay the monkey or the monk key in the middle, right? The hermit with the key. The hermit's with the key to living within a vacuum, happy with self and nothing to prove, being love and spreading the word. No need to be angel or devil, the light or the shadow. No ends to come to, no outcome, no first or fourth baton, just the second and third in the middle, the monkey in the middle, the high priestess and the empress, the power behind the power of the magician and the emperor. Your 5D expression was here all along, overshadowed by the masculine aggression and the feminine's powerlessness. The high priestess and the empress are the epitome of the divine masculine and divine feminine combined, the etheric wisdom of light and the grounding abundance of sound. As in Tao, only the most virtuous shall rule the world, because the last thing they want to do is rule the world. The meek shall inherit the earth, the feminine masculine and the masculine feminine. And then we have here the H and the P of the high priestess, the H being the 2 4s stacked on top of each other, right? The masculine and feminine, the feminine sitting on his lap. The number 8, it's the same, the dance between the masculine and feminine. And the P representing the 2 feminine chakra systems as one human of source embodiment, dressed to impress, the Empress. So the HP and then the Empress is the more 3D version of that, right? Because she's more dressed to impress, whereas the High Priestess is more within. But yet she can be in power without wanting the power, right? That's why the woman's always the woman behind the man. The Divine Masculine comes up as the Queen of Wands a lot, coming into as Queen of Cups, and the Divine Feminine coming up as the Queen of Pentacles, going into her Queen of Swords and speaking her truth. Him going into his heart, and her going into her logic, her able to speak her truth. The two I am presence, and not just the presence, but the presence that they are in their now moment. Once in their female empowerment, they are then able to shift one step inward towards the middle as the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Swords, never nearing the ends. Letters are written, but the horseshoe, or omega, is always open to the triangle, or change. The delta expanded. Okay, so again, the Divine Masculine, you may see him a lot as the Queen, come up as the Queen of Wands, because once he's come into the feminine in his representation, that means he's let go of a lot of his ego already. But once he comes into the Queen of Wands, he's still polarized towards that end, coming towards the Queen of Cups, because in the Tarot, it goes Wands, Cups, Swords, and then Pentacles. Pentacles incorporates all four suits. So as the Queen of Wands, he has elevated his energy to the feminine energy, yet he's still working up to the middle, basically, to the Queen of Cups, because you go through them all, but then you come back down again to the middle. So the Queen of Wands to the Queen of Cups as the Divine Feminine is going from the Queen of Pentacles, already knowing how to manifest as a feminine energy, and coming back to the Queen of Swords and coming back to her logic to really hone in on her verbal skills and learning how to speak her truth. The two being in their I am presence, but them being the present, the gift of the moment. Once in their female energies, their empowerment, then they shift one step inward towards the middle as the Queen of Cups and Queen of Swords, never nearing the ends being the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles. Letters are written, but the omega, the shape of that horseshoe, is always open, right? The omega is always open to change, or the triangle. The delta expanded. And the delta has to do with pooling, either coming from two avenues into one, or one going into two, just like the valves of the vein, going into the valve and then out of the valve again. And here, referencing the omega is always open to change after letters are written, never nearing the end, coming knights in white satin coming up again, referencing using all four elements, the wands, the cups, the swords, and the pentacles, or fire, water, air, and earth. Using all four elements and four directions, as Jessica had brought up. And then four, the word for, F-O-R, is also four, because that's the emperor and God's control. He's the only one that's the emperor. And then the union, which is 1111, 1111, another four, the closed circuit, but yet open to all at the same time. No time and all time. Okay, so that's the explosion and implosion. As above, so below. As within, so without. It's always it's the simultaneous action that creates the vacuum, which creates that safety zone to be in, that monkey in the middle. So here we now have four fours. We have the four elements, the four directions, the Godhead, the four of the Emperor, and the four of the Union. The four that is a closed circuit and an open circuit all at the same time. No time and all at once in the present moment. And I'd watched 2 movies last night, and here Kate and Leopold came up. And if you haven't watched that recently, go back and watch it, because it is so perfect about the virtuous man. And then Kate's name here comes up as K plus 8, energy plus 8. And then his name was Leopold, which comes up as the Leo, which is the leader, pulled. So she ate what he served, he pulled, and she jumped. That is the quantum leap. Kate and Leopold. She ate, right, because the energy of eating, what he served, and he, as Leopold, he pulled as the leader, right? And also that has to do with polling, right? Counting and doing balances and measures. So she ate what he was dishing out. She ate what he served, And he pulled, so she jumped. The quantum leap. Surf's up. Tidal wave. And then I was getting Grease. I got chills, they're multiplying. And I'm losing control. So now you got to look at the lyrics of that song, because everything in that song references this of the virtuous man. It even references him meditating to come to her. So look at the lyrics again. Because the power you're supplying is electrifying. Okay, and that's at 12:16, the hangman and the tower again. The tower of electricity. So we go back to Ben and the kite. The Empress. So now we've referenced 4 6s and 4 4s. So the 4 4s in the tarot deck would be the first the 4 of Wands, which we referenced in the 4 already. Then the 4 of Cups, which is the 44. So that's referenced already as well. Then we have the 4 of Swords, which is the 58. And that would be the connecting in 5D. And then the 4 of Pentacles. The 4 of Pentacles is the 70, I just want to say 73, right? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 72 is the 4 of Pentacles. Yeah. 72 is the 4 of Pentacles. So the 4 of Pentacles is all about moderation and holding on loosely. So they're all referencing what you need to be to come into union. It's like finding that sweet spot, which, so now we've referenced the 6s and the 5s, because the sweet spot is the middle, but erring on the side of the light. All right, so the Empress set aside her heart because the Divine Masculine is her heart. All right, so in the Empress's card, in some decks, she's sitting with her heart next to her, which is really funny, because in my message to my twin initially, when I had to walk away, I referenced that feeling that my heart was sitting next to me, that it wasn't in myself, and I felt like, you know, I couldn't get to it, like I was paralyzed, like I couldn't actually move my arms to go get my heart and put it back in my chest. So this was significant. The Empress set aside her heart outside of herself because the Divine Masculine is her heart, and she wanted him to have his independence. She didn't want him to want her for any reason but her authentic energy. The man with heart in the Oracles deck, because there's many decks that have the man with a heart, is afraid to take it, not wanting her to believe he wants his heart to be anywhere else but beside her, but finally, in a leap of faith, comes to pick it up and put it back in its place through physical union, a shared heart, 2 as 1. What love has joined, let no man put asunder. And of course, 2 hearts that beat as 1 is coming. First love is coming up for that as well. And Spirit's connecting with me. So again, and I should have pulled the man with a heart from my deck. I'm trying to remember which deck that is. I think it's my energy deck. But anyway, you get the idea. The man, so imagine the Empress with the heart sitting next to her, and the man with the heart holding that heart. And I want to say this one more time. The Empress set aside her heart because the Divine Masculine is her heart, and she wanted him to have his independence apart from her, and didn't want him to want her for any reason but her authentic energy. The man with heart is afraid to take it, not wanting her to believe he wants his heart to be anywhere else, right? Because he went to get that heart, he'd be taking it away from her. He didn't want his heart to be anywhere else, but couldn't, and now finally, in a leap of faith, comes to pick it up, to put it back in its place. The only way it can be done, through physical union, a shared heart. So place, you know, it has to be when 2 are as 1. What love has joined, let no man put asunder. He proves his love by shaping up, from the song, you better shape up. He proves his love by shaping up and picking up their heart and putting it back inside through magical means. Dressed to impress, or the Empress. Crossing the bridge is the moat in a boat, sailing across the stormy sea to the peaceful island unto yourselves, in the never-ending fairy tale or her story, not history. Time to change the program, to turn the channel to a new frequency of vibration, speeding up. Go, go, speed racer, go. The moon eclipsed, took a hit, but bunted and fell short of Divine Feminine's heart, his own unworthiness of owning, reaping rewards that had been handed to him by weak ego or out of control egotistical Leo or ego king. So it doesn't have to be a Leo person, but just someone who's very egotistical. The Leo or ego energy paying for your ass. If they own you, they can stick their butt in wherever they please. Now standing up for self, the masculine, and showing who was rowing the boat all along, inspired to new growth, after peaking out in marriage, with contract, religion, or establishment, or with Taurus, breaking the tail off his lineage, religion, tradition, boss, or Taurus. The friars and the cardinals vying for position. At cross purpose, the key doesn't fit. 2 keys and no hole to put it in, castrated by another human dominating, allowing another to tell you who you are, or a religious man or leader, or any kind of leader, with left foot bigger than their right, or showing that their left is bigger than their right, but that doesn't mean they are, or the Pope who's supposed to put his ego aside. And so watch the 2 popes. The one who didn't want it was the best man for the job. So cool how that came up here. So again, friars and cardinals vying for position at cross purpose, where the key doesn't fit, or the key don't fit. 2 keys and no hole to put it in, right? So referencing 2 of the same, but 2 that don't fit together, castrated by another human dominating, and this can reference masculine twins as well, allowing another to tell you who you are, or a religious man or leader with left foot bigger than their right, or the Pope who's supposed to put his ego aside. And again, so watch that movie, and that was at 12:42, which is the hangman and the 2 coming together, the 2 popes. I love that. They're pretty funny. Again, the 12:42 is the hangman and 42, the 2 coming together, the 2 popes. The one who didn't want it was the best man for the job. So in 2 popes, the Pope who won ended up calling it short, and the Pope who didn't really want the job ended up getting pulled into the job instead of him. So regarding the meek inheriting the earth. As we turn the page, it's 12:43, the hangman and the 3 of cups. A big head with growth by pushing other energies down in front of them. Humility cannot be forced. It must come from within. It's not a race. A spy or snake in the grass is in your midst, divine masculine. Black pointy shoes, perhaps. Hopefully not an assassination attempt, and this is not about the masculine, but in the world in general, or just an attempt to sweep away the debris from the crown. So that this can reference what's going on in the world. A long line of purity, of religious and short end of the stick. Crossbreeding has a purpose, all in the perspective and expansion of what strength means to you and what pillars must come down. The high priestess pops up or out to see what's going on with desire of the Knight of Pentacles at the door, with offering and possibly Hierophant or Taurus behind the intent. Taking one of 2, having to choose humble life or a power struggle. The 2 wise, don't make it wrong. So remember, 2 wise has to do with 2 masculine chromosomes, all right, or the 2 wise in the road, the 2 paths. 2 wise, don't make it wrong. Why should anyone have to ask permission or contract with a state to love and commit to another, or even to self, or getting permission from a family member or church to love another human being? The gold coin or the boys club, always your choice. There are no wrong decisions. The dark horse with the big balls that sag over time, it's the same with the cow and her teats. Why can't we just accept each other just as we are? Stop working so hard, stressing out every day just to get ourselves to be something we are not. Going nuts? Well, you'll have a lot of competition with all those squirrels out there at this time of year. Perhaps it's time to work on something else. Chemistry lesson, perhaps. The High Priestess, don't be shy. Come out wherever you are. I have a passion or gold coin for my work, but I also have one for you. Come on board the train of 2 or 2 blocks from you. Done working with E, who sees nothing but stars in her eyes and putting his money where his mouth is. So it's referencing to the karmic energy around him that's all about money or superficial things. And then chemistry comes up, and below that was this could be the one. Transformation, winding down to go for a spin. Transition in the past, post-death, post-mortem, or in other words, post-more, T and M&M. That references the rappers T and M&M. I didn't even get that before, but that's their joke, okay? Post-mortem is T and M&M, the rappers, and it could be M&M rappers as well. But it was really referencing T as that perfect man, the virtuous man, and Mary Magdalene. Becoming more virtuous man with Mary Magdalene, or the feminine energy. The Page of Cups reversed, losing some innocence, helped him to find the right, the virtuous words. So him falling, losing some of his innocence, and not being perfect is what actually helps him find the right words, the virtuous words. Now that the black cat ain't around. Suffering in silence, nightmare in dungeon of castle, a porn room, and actually that came up in a movie yesterday, so that was weird. Reaping rewards of karmic retribution. The mess to clean up without cat and karmic underfoot, or the Queen of Wands reversed, right? Which can be someone who's either really tired or sick and tired or freaking out, okay? Really pissed off. But sleeping with the enemy was coming up here. So again, the Page of Cups reversed, losing some innocence, helped him to find the right, the virtuous words, now that the black cat ain't around. Suffering in silence, nightmare in dungeon of castle, or porn room, reaping rewards of karmic retribution, the Queen of Wands reversed, sleeping with the enemy. Effort comes up here, and below that was moderation. And that's interesting too, because even sleeping with the enemy came up in that movie last night. I watched 2 movies. One was I think it's called Saving Zoe, and the other one was Kate and Leopold. And so in Saving Zoe, they were twin girls where the one had been killed. And these other twin hooks up with the people she was hooked up with, to try to get to the bottom of what actually happened and get whatever happened to her, get retribution for that, or, just solve the case, get some peace for her family. But in doing with that, she ends up in bed with the enemy, not literally, but figuratively. But her twin was in bed with the enemy, sleeping with the enemy, and that's why she ended up getting killed. And right at this time when I wrote this, sleeping with the enemy and then effort, the wind really started gusting. It's just gusted now as well. It's really windy out there. At 1:14 is the Magician and the Temperance. Of 14, the Angels. Magician embodiment of the angels with a storm coming. The big wind is gusting up because the storm is coming. The Mason's being called to make an effort, which is number 13, and below that was moderation. So to keep it simple, and that's number 14, referencing the angel and the Grim Reaper. So the Grim Reaper and the angel clearly in need of help. Right. So the Grim Reaper can be seen as, right, the perspective can be seen as the one who's always grim or down. And then so they reap more of that. We turn the page at 1:16, which is the Magician and the 16, again, of the Tower energy. The 10 of Wands, hard labor. Or the freedom. The freedom of 10 of Wands. Maybe some of the Masons find freedom in the 10 of Wands, hard labor. But the 10 of Wands, hard labor, the burden, the responsibilities, and cleaning up the yard were coming up here. Letting go of what no longer serves him. The Page of Pentacles reversed, in need of help, or a child who's ungrounded, or just dependent on you. At the workplace, things are okay, but Masson not getting his wish, unsatisfied. So the Page of Cups prepares a message of love, and that can be himself, of someone around him, or a child. This Page of Cups is coming up here as curious about being free and what that means exactly. The heat is on, perhaps the salon. The Page of Cups may fear their small offering won't compare to the others' bigger offers already dumped out. Working under pressure, like that diamond in the rough, coming out a real gem whose heart is always enough. Struggling with their worth and feeling powerlessness of emotion, where at work he feels in charge, with emotion, he doesn't. At work he may feel in control, but going into his emotions, he's really feeling the powerlessness of that, and that's a scary feeling when you're used to being in control all the time. But the Nine of Cups has one cup missing. Will this smaller cup suffice, or must he go back one to the Eight of Cups to gain momentum in order to leap to all 10? The Nine of Pentacles, or the Divine Feminine Sovereign, already knows he is her 10th. The Page of Cups upright and the Page of Pentacles reversed. Love and dependence of Hierophant and Hierophant. And that can reference the two popes again. And the Queen of Wands reversed. Or two bulls in a china shop. Or one union with a man and a woman, and the other union, same-sex union. Neither okay with their religion or their families, okay? So it's like it's like a couple breaking up where, let's say, the masculine's going into his union with the feminine, which isn't agreeable to their family or religion, and then who they split up from may go into a gay relationship of a feminine, which their family doesn't agree with or their religion doesn't agree with. So it's kind of like that situation coming up here. Chemistry or hero and the divine and the High Priestess, and the Queen of Wands reversed with a need to make an effort accepting a message of love or caring for a child, or after a miscarriage or miscarriage of justice, or children who have been a nightmare. The recent past is the transition portal for the Page of Cups and the Page of Pentacles reversed. Page of Cups is upright. And this is only in the underlying energies. The Page of Cups is actually reversed within the rest of the read, but in the underlying energy, the Page of Cups was upright. Page of Pentacles is reversed in both. Choosing a path to disconnect from partner and get over it, any loss and or regret, guilt or shame. The Emperor reversed and the Magician reversed. So here this is reflecting what I brought up earlier about the High Priestess and the Empress, right? That's the power couple, not the Emperor upright and the Magician upright. That's the old boys club, the patriarchy that needs to fall. Because the Emperor reversed and the Magician reversed are manipulative and control freaks, right? As opposed to the High Priestess upright and the Empress upright, which is abundance and being in your knowing with your psychic abilities. The King of Cups upright, overworking or now not working at all, drained, sick, overexposed and breakup, or not seeing eye to eye or face to face. He took new passion offered from dysfunctional family or business, the Ten of Pentacles reversed, and with possible mental illness or over-isolation or an ill parent, and used that wand in choosing a brand new path, a new path. The foundation is the King of Cups upright. After depression and deception of the Queen of Wands reversed, in exile and or injured, homeless, but making the best of it to be happy with self, and then purging the rest out. After dealing with his depression and abandonment issues, and then possible arrogance of deception or eclipsing Cancer out, and Queen of Wands reversed, suffering in silence, and or being a nightmare herself, the King of Cups is good, but in need of assistance, perhaps replacing women with men, or vice versa. Or the King of Cups is religious and surrounded by advisors, or Taurus energies, or religious leaders. The central energy here is reflection reversed, or the Hermit reversed, which also can be Virgo. Time for Hermit to come out, still imprisoned by Knight of Wands. The King and Queen of Pentacles, mostly the Queen of Pentacles, wanting to rush in to save him, but they're really doing this to each other. The King and Queen of Pentacles are coming up as the masculine and feminine here. This is my take on it. It can be something different for you, but this is what I'm getting from seeing the read. The King and Queen of Pentacles are coming up as the masculine and the feminine, both trying to save the prisoner, each other, or themselves, instead of saving themselves, right? So then they learn to save themselves. Because until you only want the best for you, can the other person want the best for themselves as well, which is each other. So the King of Cups with Virgo perhaps coming out about a negative past, difficult kids, or the past returning and looking back at the prison or prisoner and the part that they played in this at 147, which is the Magician and the Seven of Cups. These synchronicities and the heaven in their eyes as magicians. Then we turn the page to 148, which is the Magician and the Eight of Cups. The King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles rushing in passionately to prisoner, which is actually both of them doing it to each other, to help them out. The challenge being the Six of Wands reversed, the neediness or need for attention, doing things under the radar or feeling like a failure, negative news or bad news bears. The Wounded Warrior reversed in surrender to a new path. And the 151 comes up here with the King of Swords and the Magician. The Wounded Warrior reversed, or the surrender to the new path, detoxing chaos and rising above and coming out to share with others and settle out. Under the radar, Fallen Angel, holding on loosely, saving, grounding with Empress reversed, which is lack, or someone who's out of control. It could be a sick parent as well. The King and Queen of Pentacles, Fallen Angel or Sagittarius, and in lack with an ill mother perhaps, or Taurus, or control freak, or Sagittarius, Queen of Pentacles, or Queen of Pentacles with her moon in Sagittarius, and Taurus, King of Pentacles, or with Taurus moon. One with Capricorn moon is rising above and sharing and announcing or called to action. The Queen of Cups is drained or with a Leo moon, or without her sunshine in a split or divide, or a lie and cutting through the crap to rise above, come out and work, or co-creating with the Queen of Wands reversed, who's looking away from the twins toward the Ten of Pentacles reversed family, who has issues or is losing money, giving up living in the past with bad memories or difficult kids, or the past returning with the Knight of Wands rushing in as a team, 2 in 1, the High Priestess upright and the Magician reversed, and Pisces, Sagittarius, Virgo, Gemini, and Libra came up there. Now, and you know, the Magician reverse is insecurity. Can be a manipulative person, but it can just reference insecurity and loss of tools as well, or not having the tools in the first place. So that can be the High Priest is a secret, or a person, a Pisces, or it can be your psychic abilities and being insecure about them, okay? So this is the feminine within the masculine, and the masculine being insecure about his feminine and his psychic abilities. Now, present crowning is the Nine of Pentacles upright, the sovereign, working hard but burdened about move or an ending of a marriage, or visiting another's house, or presently with visitors, you know, just like my daughter just left to go back home. The sovereign is home with injustice, but strong family and or stability with a sweet child or a message of love. Kids visiting or going back and forth between homes. Leo, Sagittarius, Taurus, Libra, and Libra here. And Pisces child. Someone may feel it's unfair that one parent has the Four of Wands home and the other has a Ten of Pentacles home. Maybe an unfair advantage with the kids, right? That kind of thing always happens in splits. Splitting up stuff, activities, and seeing synchronicities and back pain, or a painful ending and or betrayal, with the Five of Cups reversed, needing to get over the loss, regret, guilt, and shame. And I got a tummy ache right at that moment, which was 209, which is the High Priestess and the Hermit. Okay, so the secret or the psychic abilities, right, and keeping things to yourself might give you a stomach ache. Getting over that loss and regret, or being at the Y in the road, and deception, and eclipse, or by the new moon, or getting up before dawn to make an offer, as the Knight of Pentacles, the humble, loyal servant, and go to work, or offer of work, so somebody might get a job offer, interviews, or helping those destitute, homeless, or out in the cold in exile. The King of Cups is drained or without their sunshine when apart from Queen of Cups, or sickness, or Leo reversed, standing between them, grieving loss, regret, or illness of another, caring for a parent, or the King of Cups tired of the Queen of Cups, of the Queen of Cups clinging after conflict or fights, or of the past, or just always bring the past back up in a fight, or always worried about deception, lies, or split, or refusing healthy alternatives, or refusing to change, reaping rewards but not willing to work for it. Or mother let the kids go outside without coats, or the mother's mad at them for doing that and then saying she doesn't have enough money to buy their coats. Doesn't know how to save money, perhaps. Maybe she grew up spoiled by, financially with a wealthy family, and would rather go to stay with parents than to work for self. So just someone is conditioned that way, right? Because they never had to work and don't want to work, but now they have to. And that was coming up at 222. Again, guidance counselors. Or the King and Queen of Cups drained after grieving a loss of someone. Could be a Scorpio or parent no longer able to fight or fend for themselves as well at 224, which is the High Priestess and the Queen of Wands. This also can be someone the person who can't fend for themselves can be a parent, but doesn't have to be. But I was also getting Leo, Scorpio, Virgo, or Virgo person that's not doing well. At 225 is the High Priestess and the Knight of Wands. The sovereign over deception of the Knight of Pentacles offering help at work, or those in exile, left out in the cold, fired. Layoffs or romantic reunion, wanting to come back to work or out in the cold, at least they're together. Clearly rejected in the past, but now surrendering in a breakdown or ego death, surrendering to the past, returning to work things out. Soon for the masculine, the Knight of Cups, upright, offers love. After not telling in the aftermath of sudden events or clinging to work, so not telling anyone at work, sharing or settling out and then announcing or a call to offer love, keeping it back from people at work. After coming together or a celebration or just hanging out with kids or whatever, walking away and within to the world, completion and or sealed divine feminine. The Hermit or Virgo is coming out to the world, equaling justice or with justice, divorce and or Libra, lovers, destined to surrender to turn to the twin journey path. The Divine Masculine is seeing himself as the Two of Cups reversed. It can either be a breakup, it can be both at the same time. It can be a breakup from a partnership or relationship, and at the same time it can be him feeling separated physically from the one he wants to be with, his soulmate. So the Divine Masculine is the Two of Cups reversed, not seeing eye to eye or face to face, which again can be physical separation, and disconnect or breakup after the King of Pentacles woke up or now sees the light, and her light, literally. The Page of Swords message, news, or child spreading the word, and the King of Swords reversed in surrender, giving up partnership, or inspired, or feels like a kid again. Make the effort, past life relationship, and honeymoon all came up for the masculine here. Enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. Around the Divine Masculine, or how he is seeing, is the Queen of Pentacles coming clean about heartbreak, separation, and raining on her parade. The Ten of Cups reversed family is over, or an end to an emotional cycle, starting over in love. Post-war with PTSD, tripping up, dropping the facade or the act, and breaking patterns now. Masculine needs to clear blocks of the Ten of Swords, the painful, and it can just be pain and betrayal after divorced, and offering love to the Divine Feminine, or Libra to Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, or Libra. He needs to clear blocks of assuming the feminine or anyone else will hurt him, or that he might hurt them, or any absolutes that he has to work as a healer or in the pain business. So it's, again, don't pigeonhole yourself. Just because you think you're going on a journey doesn't mean you're limited to what you can do. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to be what your Divine Feminine is. There's many twins who work apart. Twins will work together. Some will just be being together. Okay? It's whatever you want. That's the whole point. And it's whatever your mission is. Self-discipline comes up here, personal growth, and karmic completion, as well as following your dreams are all really important for the masculine here. The Hermit is reversed, coming out of the light. His flame, he's coming out to light his flame and offer love. Starting over in love, no longer looking to the stars to rescue him, in surrender with clarity and the past behind, rushing in passionately to the Queen of Pentacles lover, with the High Priestess secret and or psychic abilities, but with insecurities about mental illness, manipulativeness, or getting what your parents had after having had to care for them. Starting over with Justice or Libra, and breaking down before reunion, weak and holding tongue, too weak to rescue or sweep her off her feet, but offering his gold coin to what is destined. Truth and balance, the King of Wands shaman, guidance, connecting to the Sphinx and to himself, his higher self, or the King of Wands with Libra and Taurus in his chart. Or he, the King of Cups, offers love as the Knight of Pentacles, loyal and humble in reunion, or multiple offers come in to Libra, perhaps from another Libra or Virgo, Gemini, Aquarius, Pisces, Cancer, or Leo. And this can include job offers as well as children's offers of love. And that was right at 3 o'clock, which is true abundance. That's the Empress with 2 zeros backing it up of source energy. As we turn the page at 301, the Empress and the Magician, the Page of Pentacles is reversed, in need of help. And the King of Cups, in breakup or just at a distance from someone he loves, or in disconnect from a partnership with the Queen of Pentacles, post-transition, over-isolating, or need to come out, or a parent with mental status issues, challenged by bad news or feeling of failure, or falling short or hiding what you're doing from others, under the radar to offer love in order to end the pain, sovereign or single, starting over in love, in divorce, or going to the King of Wands shaman for guidance in order to become one, or become a shaman. The Page of Pentacles reversed, in need of help, money, or opportunity. The student with challenges, or one that never learns, or an opportunist refusing to change, clinging to the old, to clinging to others, or feels compared to their sibling who's very loving, or that they love the baby more. So this is about kids coming up, but it can be the masculine as well and their siblings. Like, parents playing favorites, or a child feeling like one sibling is liked more than them. Or near death, post-death, dark night experience, or just dead tired in all of this. The King of Cups is over isolating, or now coming out single, or about sovereign, or too sovereign. The challenge being a need for attention, sneakiness, or worthiness, or a leader who fell from grace. The Two of Cups reversed, disconnect or a breakup to be the Knight of Cups, right? That person of love, and start over in love. The Queen of Pentacles ending pain to start over together in truth and balance, Justice or Libra, and the King of Wands shaman, or two of them, twins, two King of Wands, with Taurus between them, or Taurus in their chart, as well as Libra. So this, in someone, this is obviously not for most people, but there definitely could be a situation where the Divine Masculine is twins, and his partner has been going between them, or this can be literally a brother who looks a lot like him as well, where the partner ends up with the other brother, or has been with the other brother before them. So obviously that's not for most people. Or the King of Cups is in need of help because he's losing his mind over sovereign, challenged by attention. And the King of Pentacles and the King of Swords reversed, King of Pentacles is upright, have broken apart, a partnership. Or kids have a lawyer to break away from the King of Pentacles, an awakening, or to stand up to a King of Pentacles who's a wealthy man with a big head. This also can be a paternity suit. The Knight of Cups offering love to the Queen of Pentacles to end the pain and start over in love. The two kept apart by the Queen of Wands reversed, with Aquarius, Cancer, Scorpio, or Taurus in their chart. Or Libra, King of Wands shaman, and Taurus, King of Wands, who's not a shaman, starting over apart with different ideas about what they want. An older person, a parent, or Virgo may have passed, or child or miscarriage, or lost an opportunity. Or the King of Cups with 2 to 3 kids, the Page of Pentacles reversed, the Nine of Pentacles teen, and the Knight of Cups. Or the Knight of Cups is an offer of love from Scorpio to Scorpio and or Virgo, or King of Cups to end the pain and disconnect with Queen of Pentacles and start over again. Or a teen or sovereign offers love to end pain and reconnect with the Queen of Pentacles, or make restitution with them. All right, so that was the read. I know it was a lot, but it took me a long time. It was hours and hours today. So I hope you appreciate that and that you got something useful out of it. And I will pull you a quick 1 or 2 oracle cards, and then I'll show you the cards as well. So let's see. I'm going to go with the Nature's Whispers first and see what comes up. So take a deep breath. I'll give you another little dong. Take a deep breath. On this January 16, 2020, for everyone watching and the best and highest good of all those concerned, what do we need to know? What do we need to learn? Let's clear all negative energies from all dimensions of time, space, matter, and realities for the highest good of all those concerned, and fill that empty space with only beautiful divine love and diamond crystalline light. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, you guys. I'm still out of breath from my run. Okay. What is the message here? What do we need to know? What is the point of this read? What is our takeaway from this? Mother, Father, Christos, Sophia. Okay. So we got 2 cards. The bottom of the deck is Let Love Be Your Beacon, 42, which is the 2 of Cups. Okay. So let it be your beacon. And again, it's saying let go of the old, right? You don't have to wear a necklace of the cross. You can do whatever you want. But it's just saying that's the old. Why would you want to wear, like, you know, it's like taking someone in your family who passed away and carrying their skeleton with you always. You know, you don't need to do that. Let go of the old to leave room for the new to come in, okay? And I'm guilty of that as well. Be true to your heart, 26, which is the Page of Wands. Be true to your heart, which came up big time in the read today about the heart being outside the Empress and the masculine holding a woman's heart. And the Page of Pentacles is about being, or Page of Wands is about being inspired. You know, it's like a teenager again, really excited to go out on a date. It's that kind of energy. And in this card, you have 2 ships coming in, so that's perfect. 2 ships coming in, lots of shells, butterfly, a megaphone, flowers and birds. And this is definitely peacock type energy there. There's definitely some peacock feathers out here. So definitely, it's like strutting yourself. Be true to your heart. You don't need to show off. When you are authentically you, you just naturally glow. That's the point. Okay, the other card that came out for you guys is Bountiful Harvest, which is 28, which is the Twin Flames. We have 26 and 28, the Page of Wands and the 2 of Wands, right? Inspired to choose a path and co-create. Bountiful harvest, okay? It's time to harvest what you've sown. And that's directly a message for the twins with the 28. So in this card, there's a bird over the earth. So very much about intellectual pursuits that we've always, you know, we've always been that way. But it's like, she's like a painter, like bringing in all the color. Like, here's all the logic, right? It's been a straight road with a rainbow bridge and all that kind of stuff. But here's the feminine bringing in more color and waves and textures, more perspectives, allowing something for everyone, that everything's okay. Yeah, it's very much about just those feminine energies with the colors and the textures and the butterflies and flowers, and that's pretty much, there might be a kangaroo in there. I think there is, maybe a little Joey. Yeah, but it's just saying it's okay if your bridge isn't a straight road like this, like it's a winding road, so that's coming up. And sometimes it's turbulent like this, which is okay. It's just your journey. It's all okay. It's what makes us all beautiful. And you know, what is the expression? Variety is the spice of life. And that's the message from that card for sure. To be true and authentic to yourself. But there's no reason why there isn't room for everyone to be exactly who they are. Okay. Let's see. I think I want to pull the card. I want to pull, nope, not that one. Oh, here it is. So I'm going to pull from the energy deck, okay? And I think that's going to be it, because I don't want to go past an hour and a half. It's already getting really long. Okay, for the energy deck. For everybody watching, the best and highest good of all those concerned. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? Take another deep breath. Okay. All right, just one card from this deck, and then we'll wrap it up. Oh, that went flying out. They gave me what I wanted. Aw, carrying connections. It's 14. It's the angels. That's perfect. There's another card that does, oh, there's two more cards that want to come out, and then the bottom of the deck is the Sun. Okay, so we have the Sun, full energy. It's saying to take care of yourself, you know, self-care, to help yourself stay happy and fully energized, you know, to exercise, wash yourself, eat right, all those things that you know you're supposed to do, and music. There's like a megaphone on here too. Here's this baby with the stork, and then the megaphone type of thing over here, and then we have growth over here, so right, grow your own food. And this is like music, right, if you want to read or reading music to play. I'm not sure exactly what that is. I don't know what that is. You can just reference like fairy energy, or, but she's taking a bath in the bird bath, which is funny that the bird came up in the other card, and Thoth comes up always when the bird comes up. It's like in making, you know, use a different perspective to use things. This is like using your tree to hold open the book for you, like to make a book place or a book holder, whatever it is. There's paintbrushes here too, to paint your own picture of what you want. But make it bright and sunny just the way you like it. The other two cards that came out of this deck that want to be seen by you are, and the Sun in this deck is the One, so that's the Magician. The bird bath. And that has to do with tweets and desserts. Make sure they're fully exposed, right? Where there's no room for misinterpretation, right? Because there's always room for other perspectives. So be as clear as you can, fully exposed with the Sun. Don't hold things inside, don't keep secrets, and don't be coy with your words so that the other person might not understand it. Here we have 32 of Door to Spirit and 52, which is the goddess of the moon. 32 is the Six of Wands, and 52 is the Queen of Swords. So here's the journey of the feminine, the Queen of Swords with the light, the goddess of the moon, right? Because the feminine energy is more of the nothingness or the shadow energy. And it's comfortable for her in the day, because at night she gets too much darkness. She's already that shadow energy, so it's hard for her at night. That's why she gets so emotional, because it's too much shadow energy. Whereas in the day, she really needs the sunlight because it helps her to stay balanced. And it could be the opposite for the masculines, why the masculine's like the man cave, dark, because he's already the sun, the light. For some reason, that balancing was supposed to come up. The Door to Spirit of the journey. It's just saying allow both sides of the coin, right? Because there's more light on this side, there's more dark, but it's staying more to the middle. These are both kind of shadowy. This is kind of into the dark, this is kind of into the light, but not fully. It's saying stay to the middle. And know, and for the feminines, know that you are the light. And stay on path. And there's the bird again, going through the door. This is Thoth being funny. Look, here I am, there I am. Oh, now you see me, now you don't. Okay, that's like Thoth. The bird, this is really funny. Okay. And he's referencing also the bird going in and out, right, of the etheric realms. It says when you get too much dark, go back the other side. The door's always open, go back and forth. It's open now. Come on, guys, the portal's open. Go back and forth as much as you need to. The Door to Spirit is there for you always. Stay on path, stay on your journey. You are of the light, the Queen of Swords. I'm getting to, like, she's pumping weights too, so to work out. It may help with your I know the word, I just can't think of it. Your endurance, thank you. Okay? But it's also saying, you know, you are a woman, hear me roar. You carry the weight of the world upon your shoulder. Look how powerful you are. Look at all the beautiful falls in the background too. There's like waterworks everywhere. That's definitely a message. Somebody's gonna be crying. Allow the tears to flow. You're strong, you can take it. You've been carrying the weight of the world upon your shoulders. Oh, that's such a beautiful message. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. I want to show you the cards before we get way too long. We're already going to hit a minute 30, or an hour 30. All right, we have Seeker of Crystals. Recent past is Transition. And here we have Master of Chalices, okay, with the clarifiers. In the middle is Reflection of the Hermit. The challenge was the Six of Flames, or the Six of Wands, the other underlying energies. And then the crowning card is that Nine of Pentacles, or crystals in this deck. And then scrolling over to the Adept of Chalices, or the Knight of Cups. That's coming up. The masculine sees himself as the Two of Cups reversed. Around him is that Sage of Crystals, or the Queen of Pentacles. His blocks that he needs to clear has to do with the Ten of Swords, to let it go. And we end up there on the Four of Cups, which is reversed in this read. Look at the colors of the numbers, the number cards, and how they reference you, right? So we have third eye to crown, third eye there. And the sacral, again, have been big this week, as well as heart to throat energies, kind of in between stuff is coming up, as well as above your head. We end up there with the Four of Cups reversed, but then we also have the Justice card upright, the King of Wands Shaman upright, and then the Guidance card, or it's also the Hierophant upright, and then the King of Wands upright. Okay, that's the end of the read. Okay, guys. Ooh, I'm tired. It's been a long day. The energy's still a little bit rough, too. Drink your water, get your rest, your joy, your nature, and rise and be loved, guys. Bye.